October 4th, 2024 at 12 p.m.
Thank you, Chad.
Spice Tree Apartments versus DeAndre Taylor.
That's a dismissal, Your Honor. Looks like they did get
it is?
Yeah.
All right. Case is dismissed without prejudice. Spice Tree Apartments versus Haley Salisbury. He's here. And also Gavin, is it Wesley?
Well,
hello.
How are you doing?
Okay. Oh, they're in like 8 different screens. Okay, yeah. That's good on my eyes for this time of day. All right, where are we on this case?
Your Honor, this was adjourned 1 week. Ms. Salisbury indicated that, I think Mr. Wellesley as well, that they were trying to seek legal counsel. Total due at present with court costs $4,735.32.
All right, folks, where are you on this?
I guess I'll go first, Your Honor. Thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I want to start out by explaining that I requested the adjournment to retain an attorney, but I wasn't able to secure one within the week. We were calling attorneys that specialize with lease evictions, but nobody had the time to help. I would like to state that me and Haley have not been together since April due to relationship issues, and that's one of the reasons why my mom is involved. She's on the screen with her. She's done most of the talking between Haley and I. She's also communicated with Spice Tree Apartments. I lost my father in a tragic way on August 12th, so I haven't had the best headspace to do this on my own, and that's another reason why she's here. But to get things started, I guess for me, I'd already moved into an employee house free of rent and utilities in Ann Arbor on March 22nd. Before Haley moved into her apartment on April 14th, she asked if I could help her by signing some documents on her behalf. When I inquired about what my involvement would be, since I wasn't going to be living there at this time, she wrote me a text explaining that the manager had told her, saying that I wasn't going to be held responsible for anything. It was all just a workaround to help her get into the apartment. With everything Haley has been through, I decided to sign the lease info because I did not want her to be homeless, and her staying at the employee house obviously wasn't an option. I never filled out an application with my info. All I got was an email of an e-signature file of the lease, and this made me believe what Haley said was to be true, so I signed the lease not knowing I was signing to be a resident.
Okay. All right. And what do you folks, Sally, what do you want to tell me?
I also have a thing I can read. So, Your Honor, thank you for the opportunity to speak today. I would like to explain my situation and how it led us here. I was approved for the lease based on a combination of my survivor benefits and Gavin's income. I was not in Ann Arbor yet because I was waiting to start a job here. I didn't start the job yet. He clarified on the phone that he wasn't going to move in at the time, but they still put him on.
I would explain this part right here.
And then the rent hasn't been paid because I don't have the survivor's benefits anymore. They canceled it in June. And then I was in
Haley, hold on, stop for a moment. What kind of survivor's benefits did you have?
I don't know exactly. It was just like SER.
Did you lose a parent?
Yeah, both of them.
And your siblings.
You lost both parents. Okay. And in June, did you turn 21?
No, 20. Or no, April I turned 20.
April, you turned 20. Okay.
Yeah, I thought it was until I was 21, but I guess it's not. So that's why we're in this hole.
All right. Go ahead, ma'am. You want to tell me something?
I really do, Your Honor. I want to let her finish, but I also know she's very prideful. And this isn't a dispute, to be clear, about Gavin and Haley like against each other. But if I could read my portion, because I think you really do need to understand something incredibly crucial to the context of this. And then also some procedural errors that I have personally been involved with since June 19th that I think you want to be aware of. So I'm Andrea, I'm Gavin's mother. I've been helping Haley and Gavin navigate this situation, and I do want to clarify from the start, like Gavin did, that they're not dating and they haven't been in a relationship since April. I took on this role as a mentor and advocate to support Haley the past 2 years. I will get into that, and I know she feels uncomfortable with this, but even I'm frustrated and not sure how much more I have in my tank to help, and this young lady needs some help and guidance in this. 2 years ago, not only did she lose both her parents, she also lost her 3 baby siblings because her stepdad murdered everyone. It was a quadruple homicide. And I am mentioning this to you because though she was technically 18, and this is why I'm in her court, because this is all trickling down to today, and I'm not trying to just do the sympathy piece, but I need someone to understand this girl hasn't been guided. Because she was 18, she unfortunately, didn't have the assistance of anything else, but she was in that home and instantly became homeless because her home was a crime scene. And I didn't even know she was without a home already for 9 months at that point. Her and my son had been dating on and off, and once I discovered that, that's when I stepped in, because she has literally no mother, no father. All of her siblings are gone except for her 2 younger surviving siblings. And this has been a lot. Now I'm going to cry because she never cries. So I know she owes the rent. She knows she owes the rent. We're not disputing that. But in addition to that, I want you to know that's why my son helped in the way he did in signing this. And he truly, from what I'll show you in the evidence if you need, he did not know he was signing a lease. He simply thought, because he's very naive, and he also should probably tell you he is not a reader. And he thought he was helping her out, truly. And they split up in April. So, and he lived in an employee house. And that just further reiterates that there were some procedural errors and that the apartment complex did not do their due diligence in ensuring that Gavin was not a resident. He never sat there. He never met with them. And my request is, not that the money isn't owed, but my request is, after you hear all of this that had happened, that not only that both Haley and Gavin's names are removed from the lease, and that, let me tell you the rest. Thank you for being patient, by the way. That because of these personal losses, and what my son didn't tell you is the way he just lost his dad just 6 weeks ago was incredibly tragic. And so he's also got that currently going on. And she hasn't even begun to be able to process this grief, because for 2 years we've been working to get her some housing. We're in her apartment with no furniture at this moment. She's had nothing here this whole time. And we've been waiting for assistance by waiting for a court summons so she could get on her feet, because she did have a job lined up. But now we're this far behind because nothing was served
Because they didn't.
until the dates I have. I have a timeline laid out for you, by the way. If you do want it, we have it on Zoom. It has a lot of dates that I have all receipts of all my emails with them, never getting a return email, never getting any answers on the phone. Not only that, they withheld information from Gavin on September 3rd when James called my son back, because that's also the day they filed this court summons, and no one ever told my son that. And then the very last thing I want to say is that our request is not to not have the amount owed, although I do wish we had some way to work around some of this, but to have them both removed from the lease, because clearly it's demonstrated, and she had just moved in, he's never been in here, that this young lady's not going to be able to pay. And I don't want this affecting her for the rest of her life when she's already so upside down and has had no guidance other than myself with this. And that's the facts. And unfortunately, without burdening you with my problems, my life turned upside down and I am in absolutely no position to help like I otherwise would. And if that was the case, neither of them would be here today if I could help, but I can't. And so I'm hoping that sums everything up because I kind of went off script. And then if you want anything else, we have a lot of information for you. But I wanted you to know with the context with her because she's not going to share that with you on her own.
All right. Okay. Okay, Haley. You're right now. Is that your apartment at Spice Tree right now that I'm looking at behind you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Haley, let me ask you this. As I sort of synthesize this whole thing, are you going to be able to move someplace or you just don't have anywhere to go? All right, young lady, let me tell you something, okay? Because I heard Gavin's mom say, you have a lot of pride, right? Okay, is that right?
Sure.
Okay, so listen, here's what you got to do. I'm just sort of a plain talking guy, okay? And so sometimes to try to work some of these things out, you got to kind of set aside your pride, okay? Sometimes things don't work out, but sometimes things do work out, but they can only work out if there are people in a position maybe that can help. Can't do everything, but you got to kind of know what's going on with you, okay? So if it's going to be a circumstance where you're going to be homeless, you got to tell me that.
Not maybe for a minute.
What do you mean by that?
Okay, honey, it's okay.
Haley, talk to me, all right?
Well, I just, I would rather just not have to keep going through with this, like the rent. So I can find somewhere. Because
Okay,
like,
now hold.
I want to do it all on my own. So
All right. Okay. So Haley, love. Gavin, how old are you, buddy?
I'm 21.
All right. Now, certainly, Haley, not through the circumstances, probably not through the circumstances of either one of you that you guys have been through. Let me just tell you, you're talking to somebody who losing parents is hard, right? We know it's going to happen. At least if things happen in the orderly way, that's going to happen. But we never expect it. Okay. So I usually don't share things about myself, but so that you can understand that at least to a certain extent, I can kind of understand the uncertainty of where you guys are. Mm-hmm. All right. Understand, I lost my dad when I was 16. So I can particularly appreciate, Gavin, when you say you're not in a good headspace, I get it.
Yeah.
Okay. And, Haley, I can't even wrap my head around that. Okay. But the one thing I can tell you both, life doesn't end. You find a way to make it through. Haley, for you, sometimes When I'm telling you to set aside your pride, sometimes you got to set aside your pride. Sometimes you're just not that strong, and it's okay. Okay? Because somewhere out there, while the world doesn't seem like it's a great place sometimes, I believe in the goodness of people. And so sometimes when you let that down and people can see it and you just sort of lay it bare, I got to believe, and I just do believe, that there are people around that kind of help you out. Okay? And you just can't. You know, Haley, you don't have any reason to have any faith in humanity. You just don't. And I'm not going to try to tell you that you do. All right? But slowly but surely, maybe you'll begin to see it. Okay? It'll come back at some point. Okay? But more importantly, you got to give yourself space and time to heal and time to move on. And there's no recipe for it. And you're going to come across a lot of these bumps. And what I don't want you, it's one thing to give up on an apartment. It's a whole other thing to just give up on life. And the latter of that, I don't want to see. Okay? So, Haley, if you don't have the apartment, where do you think you're going to go? You got a place?
I have a place that I can go to, yeah.
Okay, for how long?
For a few months until I can get it figured out.
You know what, Your Honor, if I may, I only want to say, I think she would share more with you, and I don't know if you have if you're able to do this or not. I know because her and Gavin haven't been dating since April, I'm sorry, that she would probably share more with you if she wasn't in this situation. And I'm not asking you to make accommodations, but I do feel like that's where the hesitation's from. I don't know if he can be removed so she can share you more during this or not.
Well, let me do this.
Okay.
Let me do this. Haley, just really, bottom line is, between you and Gavin, you don't have the money to pay for this apartment, right?
Mm-mm.
You have the potential ability to go someplace. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do, Haley. I'm going. Mr. Ornbush, I'm going to adjourn this out to October 4th, 2024, over plaintiff's objection. What time?
12 p.m.
At 12 p.m. Okay?
Sir, can I say one thing though? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
My dad's service is on the 5th, and they live down by Flint, and I was planning on being there for the 4th and the 5th. So I don't know. We could reschedule
Well,
a different day.
Well, I'm going to leave it to the 4th because I think things have to get resolved for the plaintiff. Okay?
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave it that date. If you're not here, I certainly understand that, and we'll work around that some way. But you're not in the apartment in any event, so
Yeah.
that may not be an issue. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Ms. Dornbush, I'm going to ask you a favor of you, if you don't mind. If I ask Haley to wait till the end of the proceeding, do you mind if I have a private communication with her and Gavin's mom regarding the circumstances in this case? I would never, of course, do anything detrimental to your client in that conversation, but just trying to figure out what we can do with this so some folks can land softly. You're muted.
Sorry, Judge, I was verifying those other payments, and I'm not entirely sure what to say, because obviously the news, the information that's been shared here today is frankly devastating. So, at the same time, I do have a job to do, and I have to advocate for my client, and I know the court recognizes that. I would say that if during that discussion information comes to light that would otherwise affect my client's legal rights, that information needs to be shared with me. Because
Absolutely.
I do have an ethical duty to my client, but at the same time, I understand the circumstances and frankly, what Miss Salisbury has been dealing with. I have no way to understand that, but I know that there's information that the court would like to hear that she would like to share, and I understand the need to do that privately. So, if something comes up that is going to affect my client's legal rights, I have to request that information be shared with me, whether it's in a written statement or if it's something that the court discloses.
And Ms. Dornbush, I would give you my word that if that were the case, and I would also apprise her that I would have to share that with you, so there wouldn't be any surprise on anybody's part. But I have a feeling there's something, So if you don't mind, I think I will do that, and let's see where we can go and try to get this resolved, hopefully next week with this. But I think there's something that has to happen in the interim. Okay. So I'll adjourn it out a week. Haley, court does call the case of Spice Street Apartments versus Haley Salisbury. Come on up. Come on, Haley. Hello.
Hi.
State your name for the record.
Haley Salisbury.
All right. How much do you owe at this point?
With October now, Your Honor, and the court cost, the total due is $6,043.55.
Really? How are you going to get that paid?
Not today, but sooner than later.
Pardon?
Sooner than later.
All right. Let me ask you this. I mean, the reality is you don't have the money, right? All right. Now, you understand that what that's going to mean is that you can't stay there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. You get that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, I don't know if this was mentioned at the last hearing, but what plaintiff is asking for is plaintiff is not asking that you pay. Eventually they will.
Yeah.
But they're not asking that the money be paid. They're asking, they want their apartment back.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you understand that? Okay. So then my question to you is, how soon can you be out? Right?
Well, that's just whenever. We just want to both be off the lease without it affecting our records anymore. Because we weren't even notified of the court dates. So,
Okay, hold on.
yeah.
Hold on. You're talking about two different things here. Okay. Okay. So we can kind of deal with part of that. And I'm not sure where that other part is coming from, but I have some suspicions. But the real question is when, okay, let's just look at this case. And you understand what I'm saying is they're not asking for a money judgment at this time for this amount. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
That amount is just what would be a redemption amount, meaning that if you were going to stay, that's the amount you'd have to pay to the landlord. Follow me?
Mhm.
Okay. So then the question really is, in this instance, when can you move out? Okay. And have yourself someplace safe. And then you can always work with the landlord regarding this amount, regarding how you pay that amount back.
Well, he doesn't talk.
Who doesn't talk?
The landlord doesn't really talk.
Okay. You can write him a letter then.
Okay.
All right. I mean, write him a letter and propose whatever. I'm sure Ms. Dornbush will let them know that you had a benefit that you no longer have. Didn't expect it. I looked at the, given your birthday is April, her benefit cut that May. That's why May didn't get paid.
Mhm.
And that's her whole, that's how you were living, right? Okay. So, you follow all of that here?
Mhm.
Okay. Now, you don't want anything that's going to affect your record or your whatever. If I had to rule on this case today, there would be a judgment. Okay. I don't want to see that against you either. I mean, I'll be honest with you, but that's what would happen. So we've got to kind of take it in pieces. Okay. So when do you think you could be out of the apartment?
Anytime they need.
Okay. You got someplace to go?
I can, but if I'm paying, if it's October rent, then are they taking that off?
Pardon? Haley, what are you reading?
Nothing.
Yeah, no, you're, hold on, darling. Look. It's okay. What was the last thing that you said to me about October?
So if I leave soon, or if I leave, are they gonna make me still pay October's rent, or will they take that off? Because they added October's rent to it.
Right, but listen. Yes, you would have, since you're occupying the premises, the simplest answer to that is you would have October that you would have to pay. All right?
So if they want me out today or tomorrow, then why would I
Hold on.
pay all?
Whoa. Back up, slow down a little bit. Okay, Haley, please. Haley, when can you comfortably get yourself out of the property?
I don't know.
Back up one moment, Haley. Haley, do you have a place to go? Right. As we
I
sit
can't.
here, hold it. As we sit here right now, do you have a place to go?
Yeah, I have a friend.
Do you have stuff in there, Haley?
Have what?
You have things in the apartment, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nothing big.
Pardon?
Not nothing big.
Have you talked to the friend about moving in? At all?
I know she will let me stay for a little bit, and then I can try to figure it out.
Okay. So how much time would you need to try to make that first part happen?
It just, like, if I'm already gonna have to pay October, then I might as well stay for
Haley.
I don't know.
Let me back up a moment, okay? On one thing. Your October rent, okay? And all the rent. Did you understand what I said where it's a redemption amount instead of a money judgment? Maybe I was talking to legalese. You understand what I mean by that? So what the plaintiff is asking for is a judgment. They want their apartment back. And they're just saying that if you want to stay, this is the amount you have to pay. Okay? If you leave, you either got to pay that amount or you got to leave. That's what really happens. Okay? Now, the monetary amount that you're talking about, which I see is a big worry for you, right? That's where I'm talking about. You try to work something out with them to get that paid back at some point. Okay? But as I sit here right now, that's not really a concern for the court because they're just asking for the apartment back. And the only thing that I'm trying to do is try to figure out some way that the plaintiff can get their apartment back, and
They can have their apartment.
and you get a soft landing, because that's the other part that's important for the court.
And Your Honor, if I may just add a little something that hasn't been addressed yet, but maybe might provide a little bit of clarity to Ms. Salisbury, is that the sooner Spice Tree can get their apartment back, the sooner they can re-rent it. The sooner they re-rent it, the sooner her obligation under the contract ends. Because right now, she has a lease agreement for, I believe, a year, and I don't know when it expires, but the sooner they can re-rent the unit, it means that's the less rent that they would accelerate under the contract that was signed.
Yeah.
And
Gotcha.
so if I understand her reasoning. If I'm going to be responsible for October, I might as well stay till the end of October. But the reality of that situation is that means the unit probably won't be re-rented by November 1, which means the November rent could be accelerated and potentially the December rent can be accelerated. So the sooner she's able to surrender possession, the sooner they can do what they need to do to re-rent the unit and then hopefully end her liability going forward.
What month did you move into the Spice Tree? April
15.
Gotcha. So, go ahead.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Why am I just now having to go to court for all of this?
What do you mean?
That's like the only question. It's just, I feel like I shouldn't owe this much. I feel like I never got any notice when I didn't pay the rent.
Your Honor, if I could also on that. So the non-payment demand was issued on August 14th. It was mailed to the unit. My client informs me that they did make delinquency calls. They did post notices on the door. They did send out balance due letters. Obviously, they sent the non-payment demand. And so they did attempt to communicate with both Ms. Salisbury and Mr. Wellesley without success. And I think the first time that there was contact by Mr. Wellesley, I believe, was after a September 16th email. And I believe him and his mother both did reach out to the complex at that time. And it was an email just to notify the upcoming court date. So I'm not sure what happened as far as Ms. Salisbury receiving that correspondence or receiving phone calls. I can't speak to that. I can just say from my client's position, they did attempt to reach out to both parties to discuss the balance that was due.
I didn't get no notices on the door in the mail until September. And then I didn't know of the court date until like 4 days before because
I got you. But Haley, here, just listen. Here's the reality, right? You knew you hadn't paid your rent, right?
yeah, but if I would have had a court date sooner, I would have just been able to maybe get up with the rent. But they just let me have all of this added up. But it's fine. It doesn't matter.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, Haley. If you could tell me how much you could come up with today, how much could you come
It's
up
fine.
with?
I don't want to stay there.
I didn't think you did. That's why I wasn't even exploring that with you. Okay? So, Haley, what date can you comfortably move by? Understanding that the earlier that you move and get your stuff out, give them back the apartment, the better off you're going to be.
And as soon as they want me to, if they want me to today, I will.
I'm going to do it this way. Is the other party here? He's not. Did he check in? Oh, that's right. Okay. Thank you, Emily. All right. So, if I gave you 10 days to get out, you'd be able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, it would be the 15th, so it's going to be a half a month. All right.
And Your Honor, something odd just happened that I just want to bring to the court's attention. As I think Your Honor is aware, you have a very loyal YouTube following as well as other social media following. And I received an email just a minute ago from one of your followers. Obviously, I cannot advocate on behalf of Ms. Salisbury, Mr. Wellesley. I represent Spice Tree. But I wanted to bring to the court's attention that one of your YouTube followers has indicated that many of your followers want to help Ms. Salisbury. And so I'm not really sure how to handle this, Your Honor. This is kind of a first for me that I'm being contacted directly, and I'm sure because my information is more readily locatable, findable on the internet. And so your followers have indicated to me that they want to assist her in making this payment. They have suggested starting a GoFundMe, and
That what?
starting a GoFundMe so they can assist Ms. Salisbury in paying this balance. And as I've indicated, I can't advocate for any of this because I believe that may violate my ethical duties to Spice Tree, but I'm relaying to the court what has been communicated to me since I am now in receipt of this correspondence.
Okay. You understand that, Ms. Salisbury? Just said.
A little bit.
I guess there are folks out there that want to help you out.
Okay, I don't know how it would work, but
Well, I'm not even sure how it works. I'm kind of surprised a little bit, but as Ms. Dornbush was. Okay. Haley, you really don't know what you want to do, and I get that. And you had a rough journey. There's no two ways about it, and you're trying to make the best decision that you can, and I get that. Okay. like last week when I asked Ms. Dornbush I could talk to you guys without her being present, and she said, okay, she had her ammunition about her. She's representing her client. Would you have any problem if I were to talk to Ms. Dornbush in private along with the court liaison officer? Would you have any problem with that, Haley?
No.
All right, so here's what I want you to do. I want you to have a seat. This is my last case in this block, right? Okay, have a seat. We'll get your call back up as soon as I come back out. Okay, Mr. Dornbush, I'm gonna have to move I'm gonna take my iPad going back, and then you can actually start the 2 whenever that happens. So I want Ms. Dornbush and Amy.
Yes.
Court does call the case of Spice Tree versus Haley Salisbury and Gavin Wellesley. You guys want to come up right here?
And good morning, Your Honor. Rachel Dornbush, Palace Law, on behalf of the plaintiff.
All right, state your names.
Haley Salisbury.
I know. Wellesley. All right. Couple of things happened, and I know Ms. Dornbush, you had something. Mr. Wellesley, you, as I understand it, don't wish to have any other interest in the apartment. Is that correct?
No, sir.
Pardon?
No, sir.
Okay. It's not correct what I'm saying, or you're saying you don't want to?
Oh, I'm saying I don't want to. Oh, sorry.
All right. As you were, and the reason I'm saying that is because prior to that, you had basically indicated that you have some place of your own.
I do.
Is that correct?
And I also, I'm staying with my stepfather right now, but I do plan on getting an apartment soon in the future. And I didn't know if me being on this lease would affect that.
All right. We may be able to take care of that. Haley, how are you today?
Okay.
You're good? All right. You wish to continue to reside in the apartment, right?
If I can.
Pardon?
If I can,
All right.
maybe.
Oh, hold on. You're not very good about making decisions, are you? Huh? No. Yeah, you're 20. That's why. To get better. All right, let's do this then. Ms. Dornbush, since Gavin doesn't want to have an interest, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into a breakout room with you and Haley and talk to the two of you, okay? And do that, because I think you might have some information that I also have some, okay?
Yes.
All right. You can have a seat, all right? The court will stand in recess, and Haley? Court calls the case of Spice Tree versus William Morgan. Just one person.
Correct.
William Morgan, not here. May proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. There's rent to retain of $1,963.05, cost of $171, for a total due of $2,134.05, and we'd ask for a default possession only judgment with writ to issue in 10 days.
Judgment to the plaintiff, that's by default for possession, redemption amount, any amount requested with the writ to issue in 10 days. Court calls the case of Spice Tree Apartments versus Haley Salisbury. And also Gavin Wesley. Hello. What's your name, sir?
Gavin Wellesley?
Wesley. All right. So where are we on this?
Uh,
Well, hold on. I'll let Ms. Dornbush speak first, and then we'll...
the total we're at today, Your Honor, is the $6,143.
$6,143.
That's correct.
Okay. So the other thing didn't come through.
Unfortunately, no, it's not.
All right. That's fair enough. Okay. All right. So You look like you want to tell me something. What do you want to tell me?
No.
Yes, you do. You're looking like you want to say something.
No.
No? Gets up here and then she clams up. All right. So, did you get your account opened?
Mhm.
Did you?
Mhm.
Okay. The rest of the funds were put into that, right?
Mhm.
You said a yes.
Or we're still working on transferring it, but a lot of them did, yeah.
What does that mean?
So there's like limits on how much you can transfer through apps within like a week period of time or whatever. it's all confusing.
But the account is set up.
Yes.
For that's in your name.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. And so when do you anticipate you'd have all of that transferred over?
Probably within. I think there's more ways around it. We were trying to do either send it right to the bank, like Zelle, or I don't know. There's ways, I guess, soon. I don't know exactly.
No. That was a 20-year-old answer you just gave me. I get it. No, I get it. That's okay. So here's what we're going to do. So, with her, we'll have to figure this all out. But if we added November's rent, no, let's do this. If you were to add November and December rent, how much would that be, Ms. Dornbush?
One moment, Your Honor. So the rent's $12.35, Your Honor. So times 2. There's 2 static utility charges at $16.50 a month times 2, and then the water sewer is no more, from what I can tell, than $30 per month. So if we just, $60 per month. So if we went with that number times 2, let me pull out my calculator. So 26.23 added on to the current balance, 61.43.55. And it looks like $8,766.55.
How much cents?
8766.55.
All right, got it. 55. Okay.
I'm gonna just double check my math, just to be safe, Judge.
Oh, no, I have 2 staff members. That's exactly what they got. So I think
Okay.
you're good. So here's what we're going to do while you solve that other part of the problem. So here we'll have to figure out the rest of it. But what we're going to do is, so you can take a bit of a breath, we're going to pay up through December.
Okay.
That sound good? Are you just nodding at me because you're going to agree with the guy in the black robe, or that's what you want to do?
No, it sounds good. I just don't want it to be a problem with them.
For who?
I don't want them to like worry or anything.
Who?
The apartment.
I know. So what I'm going to do is, at this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to release 877.66 to Spike Street. Okay?
Is that all the late fees too?
What?
Is that included? Like, I don't know how much all the late fees add up to.
Which late fees? Really?
I'm guessing there's late fees for each.
Okay, just listen. You owe right now, you said 61.43
And 55 cents. Yep.
and 55. Okay, so right now what you owe is 61.43.55. Got that? The calculation that we just went through were your rent for November and December, and those charges that you have, like water, the water charge, and you have some other static charges that are in. So everything, put that all together. So your back rent and everything through December, you would owe $8,766. Okay? Got that? So there's not going to be any they've got all the late fees and everything from previous, that's already in there. in the other one. You follow me?
I know that.
Okay, then what were you asking me about late fees?
Or nothing.
No, tell me you're trying to ask me something. Just tell me.
No, it's fine. I don't know.
Haley, I think you figured out. I'm not as stupid as I look. So just, if you got a question, just ask. I'll figure it out. Even if you don't think it's going to come out right, just ask me the question.
I don't know exactly what I was just making sure that it was those months added to.
Right, but you won't have late fees if we pay it for November and December.
Yeah.
Okay? Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to release that from the escrow. You still have a sizable chunk in escrow, right? But I'm going to adjourn this out to November 1st. There's a reason why I'm doing that, okay? Anyway. At that time, it may be that this case then gets dismissed. But you're going to have to make a decision about whether or not you want the rest of your lease paid up. Follow me? Because her lease runs through what date?
I don't have it in front of me, Judge, but her moving date was mid-April, so maybe the end of March, possibly.
That sound about right? That it runs through March? It runs through May?
That could be, Your Honor. They may have signed a slightly longer lease, and if you bear with me, just I do have it. I just didn't have it open.
I moved
Moved in your
15th.
birthday month of April.
Yeah, the 15th. And if it's 12 months, then it should be.
Oh, actually, Your Honor, it looks like it was a 14-month lease, and it expires on June 16th.
Gotcha.
They definitely said it was 12.
What'd you say?
They definitely said it was 12.
Okay, but you got a 14-month lease, right? And so here's what you got to think about. And I'll need an answer by November 1st. This other amount that I have in escrow, I'm going to hold that, right? And then you are going to have to decide how far you want paid out on this lease so you don't have to worry about it. Okay? But I'm going to let you I want you to think about it and then let you make that decision. Okay? A great deal of the money that's here is really for that purpose. Stabilize you a little bit, okay? Just want you to think it through, and then you're going to give me what your decision is. And then I'll tell you what mine is. But I'll let you speak first next time, okay?
Okay.
So I'm going to release that amount. You don't have to worry. You're going to be paid through December. Then we're going to try to figure out, if your lease ends in June, how that's going to be paid while you get yourself settled. Got it?
Okay.
Does that make sense to you? Yes.
Yes.
I gotta get her to actually use the words. Do you have any other questions?
No.
No?
I do, Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So I'm just curious, since we have kind of the money for this, is there any way I could find out whether I'll still be on the lease, or if there's a way I can come off it without it affecting my record, or so-and-so, kind of?
Ms. Dornbush, you don't have an answer to that, do you?
I do, actually, and
Okay.
this may play a part in Haley deciding what she wants to do on November 1st. If the lease is paid through the end of the term, then they are willing to release Mr. Wellesley from the lease, and it would remain solely in Haley's name. They just need that assurance that the full lease will be covered.
Okay.
And I think, okay, you follow that?
Yeah.
So his name comes off if we can make sure that this is paid through June. But I don't want you making that decision right now. I want you to make that decision by November 1st. I want you to kind of think it through. Fair enough? Okay. So, see you November 1st, 2024 at
3 p.m.? I'm sorry, November 1st, 12 p.m.
12 p.m. Okay?
Okay.
You really want to go now, don't you? You don't like being here, do you? All right, Haley. You take care. All right, young lady. Thank you.